Allo, it is me, Irinushka Semenov, here to tell you another story. This time it is about a king who had a very large kingdom. One day he had a feast, a beautiful feast for all his officials and his servants. After they had eaten and they drank, the king ordered to bring his queen, but she refused. This made the king very angry. So he asked his advisors, "What should I do?" They said, "You should tell her she cannot be queen anymore and have a contest of beautiful girls in your kingdom, so you can decide who you want to have as queen next." So he said, "Good idea." And he did it. There was a beautiful girl from the motherland. Her name was Hadassah. And Hadassah was raised by her cousin because her parents had died. Her cousin sat by the gate and he heard about the contest, and he told Hadassah, "You should enter." So Hadassah entered. For 12 months she got beautiful. She did everything she was told to do by the person who was attending her. And then she passed by the king, and he saw her beauty, and he said, "That is who I want for my next queen." Her cousin was sitting by the gate, and one day he heard a plot to kill the king. So he told Hadassah. Hadassah told the king. The king found the men, he had them killed, and he wrote it in his chronicles. Then there was another man. His name was Haman, and he was second in the kingdom. But he was very proud, and every day he would pass by the gate, and everybody would bow except for Hadassah's cousin. That made Haman very angry, and he decided not only to kill the cousin, but all of those people. So he went to the king and he said, "There is a people group in your kingdom. I think they are dangerous to you. You should kill them. We can decide on a day that everybody kills this people group." The king said, "Okay." So Haman took his signet ring, wrote up the decree that on the 13th day of the last month, they would all be killed. And he stamped it with the king's signet ring, so that it was a decree that could not be disobeyed. It went out to all the provinces, and everybody was very sad. And Hadassah's cousin came to her and said to her, "Hadassah, you have to do something." And Hadassah said, "Oh, I don't think I can. The king has not called me for 30 days. And if I go before the king without him calling me, he could kill me." Well, he could stretch out the golden scepter and I would not die. But it is very risky. And her cousin said, "Do you think you will live when all of us die? They will know you are part of our people group." perhaps you are here for such a time as this. Hadassah said, okay, I will go to the king, and if I perish, I perish. The king could not sleep that night, and he called for his chronicles to be brought to him. And he read in the chronicles how Hadassah's cousin had saved his life. So the next morning, he said to Haman, what shall I do for the person that I want to honor? And Hadassah thought, oh, this is me. So he said, oh, dress him in your robes, put him on one of your horses, say this is the person the king wants to honor. And the king said, very good. Do that to Hadassah's cousin. Oh, Haman was very angry. So, Hadassah came to the king, and he saw her beauty, and he said, ah, she is very beautiful. He put out the golden scepter and said, what do you want? I give you up to half of the kingdom. And she said, I want you to come to a banquet. Please bring Haman with you. So the king went. And after they had eaten and they drank, he said to her again, what do you want? Up to half the kingdom. And she said, I want you to come to another banquet tomorrow. And the king said, okay. So then the next morning, Haman goes out of the gate. Everybody bows except Hadassah's cousin. Haman got very angry. So he went home to his wife and his friends, and he said, what do I do? And they said, build a gallows so you can hang the man. Haman said, very good. He went, he built the gallows. Then he went to the banquet. After they had eaten and they drank, the king again said, what do you want? Up to half the kingdom. Hadassah said, me and my people group, we have been sold to be killed, to be annihilated, to be destroyed. If we had only been sold to be slaves, I would have said nothing. But we are being sold to be killed. And the king said, who would do such a thing? And Hadassah pointed to Haman and said, the foe and the enemy. The king got furious. He walked out into the garden. Haman knew that the king was angry with him. So he decided to ask Hadassah to rescue him. The king walked back in as Haman fell on her couch to ask her to help him. And the king said, will he also assault my queen? They covered his face. They took him out. And the king said, hang him on the gallows. Then Hadassah said to the king, what can I do for my people? Please write another decree saying that you cancel that other decree. The king said, I cannot do that. So she said, can you write a decree where my people will be able to fight for their lives? He said, yes, I can do that. So he gave to her the signet ring. She gave it to her cousin who had been promoted. And her cousin wrote the decree, signed it with the king's signet ring, and it went out to all the provinces that these people could fight for their lives. All of a sudden, everybody wanted to join their people group because they were very afraid. And on the 13th of the last month, those people went and they killed all their enemies, and they asked for permission to do it again on the 14th in the capital city, and they killed them all. And then they made a celebration, and that is celebrated to this day in the motherland. So the moral of the story is, if you risk your life to save your people, you might be saving your own as well.